Hey traders, this is Ron. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. As always, everything in this presentation is for educational purposes only. Lead out here with the SPY up on Friday. We're almost at new all-time highs here on the daily chart. So bulls have the edge on the daily chart. If I go to the weeklies, now every candle represents 1 week in the market, almost at new closing all-time highs. The closing all-time high on the SPY on a weekly basis is 302.01. It's about 50 cents away. So we're not far off. We'll see what this week brings, but bulls have the technical edge. If I go back to a daily chart and then we bring in the Qs, now the Qs have hit fresh new all-time highs. On a weekly basis, similar situation. The Qs are the most bullish right now. If I go to the Dow, this is a weekly chart. We are not at new all-time highs, but still in a bullish posture. And then if I go to a daily chart of the Dow Jones ETF, you can see here we are, and back up there are the highs. So we need to get about maybe 275 here to clearly break out to new all-time highs. So markets are bullish. If I go to VIX, VIX.X, you can see the VIX fell down over 7% on Friday, back down below 13. Right now it is bearish, which is bullish for equities in theory. Now I had some questions on the dollar, gold, and silver. So let me hit those. If I zoom out here, you can see that the dollar via the UUP shot up here in April of 2018. Went up, breaks the 50-day moving average in orange, gets back above it, breaks it for a little while, gets back above it, breaks it, gets back above it. So the fact that we've broken it here in the month of October, it's not really newsworthy, in my opinion, because we've done it before and it really hasn't panned out. Now, when we've had the red line cross down through the 50-day in orange, those are usually technically mini sell signals, but there was no follow through. By the time it got below the 50-day here, very little follow through. Here there was virtually none. Even though we've gotten the 20-day down through the 50-day, again, technical sell signal, it's just not working. So in the instance of the dollar, it's very jagged. I would say this: if we actually go to a new low, that would be noteworthy, and if it happens on at least average or above average volume. So right now, for me to go bearish on the dollar here on a daily chart, I'm not talking about it going to zero or anything like that. We would want to take out those lows right around 26.50. If that happens on a closing basis, now we're setting lower highs, lower lows. That would be maybe a better indicator right now of the trend of the dollar. As of right now, it's pulling back a little bit. I would say on the daily chart, it would be neutral. I don't want to go bearish because you see what happened before. If we get back above these moving averages, both of them, the 20-day EMA in red and the 50 in orange, that would be bullish. Now, moving on to gold. Here's GLD. Had a pop on Friday, came off the highs. There's just a lot of range-bound action here. Typically, gold doesn't do that well between now and the end of the year. If we look at silver, also had a pop up. Now, a little bit of a better move, but silver also came down off the highs a little quicker. I would say still choppy. We still have lower highs here and lower lows. Now, it's not the prettiest channel, but that is still what we're seeing. If you go back to gold, yep, lower highs. Here's a low, here's a low. We didn't set a new low here, but we're not in a bullish position right now. If anything, look at this flagpole. If I go from here to here, that's the flagpole. This is the flag. That actually could still be a little more bullish. But all things in consideration, yes, there is a move higher, but I would still call this a trading range. I would probably want to take out at least that high from 924, the close. I say the high, but the close was 144.51. That would start making the chart look a little more bullish. So the question was, yes, this is a bull flag. However, it's sideways choppy. Trading range, I wouldn't get too overly bullish on it just yet. How about Biogen IDEC? Had a question on this one. This is drug stock. I'm not a big fan of trading drug stocks personally. They're way too volatile. But Biogen had a massive drop here above 320 down to 220. Talk about haircut. We then go into 6-month consolidation, and now all of a sudden we shoot back up here. So if I zoom in on Biogen, basically in one day we filled the gap. So now what? Now you're in the middle of no man's land, is how I would call it technically. You're basically caught inside this bar. The fact that we're in the bar, inside the body of this bar, the target is 310, which was the open essentially. If we get back below these lows here, then a gap fills on the table. Day to day, BIIB would be bullish technically, target 310. There's so much chop up here. This is going to be a lot of overhead supply, as they call it. I don't know how easy it's going to be for the stock to get back up here, because look what happened. The moment it did get back up here, what happened? Those people sold 9 ways to Sunday. If I zoom in again, look at this candle. We opened up there at 3010, closed down in the low 280s. These folks wanted to just get their money back, right? So we go back up there, probably going to be more overhead supply. We'll see what happens. If it can chew through this, that would be a bullish sign if it chews through it very quickly. So you know what levels to watch. Now on PETS, PETS. Got to zoom out here. This also had a big move last week. Well, actually had a big move on, what was it, the 21st. We cleared all this overhead supply right around 24. So if I zoom in, we're sitting here at 25, 81. Yes, we're pulling back, but it would need to take out 23 bucks for this to be bearish, and then it goes to a gap fill. As of right now, it's just pulling back. The volume is also pulling back. Yes, it's above average, but it's a lot less than it was just 5 and 4 trading days ago. If I zoom out, what I would want to see before I would go maybe even more technically bullish, I want to get above those closing highs right in there. At that point, then maybe this little bit of a double bottom up towards 35 would be the target. All right, Tesla. Also had a question on Tesla. Stock closed at the highs of the day on Friday. Big move. Supposedly there's some positive news out on earnings or orders, etc., whatever, or there's less funny business going on, whatever it might be. Target back up here to all these peaks. 370s up towards 380. That would be the technical target. And then UHS, Universal Health, this one, if I zoom in, the question here was, what is that candle? It's a high wave doji. It's massive moves here. So the stock, let me just zoom in here. You can see right there, the stock opened at 137, basically 138. Traded as low as 130, $8 drop, but then as high as 142. People didn't know what to do. Buy, sell, buy weakness, sell strength. You filled the gap. So now what are you left with? We would need to get back above both moving averages here to be technically bullish. Then the target's 155. At this point, the downside target would be down here towards 120. If I wanted to try and play this from an intraday basis, I could literally play the top and the bottom here. We open positive, target the top on Monday. We open negative, target the bottom. And I could do this via 2-minute, 5-minute, 15-minute charts. I like 5 and 15-minute charts intraday. I'd watch for bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing to see if there were going to be any intraday reversals. But if I was trying to play this short term, top, bottom targets. Otherwise, I'd want to wait for end of days and see if we can. I think the better play here is the bearish one. There seems to be more of a drop, maybe a $10 drop, whereas it would have to get all the way back up here, maybe 147.5, and then it's only a $7, $8 upside target. For what it's worth, it's just a lot of indecision. I think there's better stuff out there to trade personally with better reward to risk ratios. So that is it. Walking into this week, folks, bulls have the edge. We will see if anything changes, but otherwise, I will see you in Monday's video. Have a fantastic rest of the weekend. All the best.